Hey guys, Sean here, and it's now been 7 years since we built this bookcase, and it's pretty much overflowing for the last couple years. So let's show you all the Blu-rays and 4Ks that we've gotten since last year. So let's get started. The Adventures of Robin Hood. This is a glorious Technicolor movie, and I guarantee it would look great on 4K. Dante's Inferno. This is really cool. It's a movie from 1911, which makes it the earliest surviving feature-length film in the world. The only reason why Aaron got it is because Jeff Rossio from Films at Home made a YouTube post that it was available for pre-order, and then Aaron bought it, and then it arrived 3 months later. In this booklet, Jeff Rossio wrote an essay. And for the actual film quality, some shots look good and other shots look a little bit Mill Creek 50 movie pack-ish, but it's from 1911. It's never going to look better than this. LA Confidential. This is a Best Picture nominee from 1997, and it's a pretty fun crime thriller. Kim Basinger won Best Supporting Actress, but I think Danny DeVito should have won Best Supporting Actor. Madame du Barry, another Ernst Lubitsch silent film. Yeah, the only one I don't have right now is Carmen, and they haven't announced anymore. Non-Stop. Well, my mom got this at a estate sale for $1. The Peasants, the next movie from the director of Loving Vincent, and this movie is just so visually just scrumptious to look at, because literally every frame is a painting. And finally, for the Blu-rays, The Third Man. I'm never going to find the Criterion Blu-ray for a decent price, so we got this one. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of regular Blu-rays because, Target doesn't carry them anymore, and Best Buy doesn't carry them anymore, and Walmart, they don't have that much of a selection. So now onto the 4Ks. We've gotten a lot more 4Ks than Blu-rays. 12 Angry Men. I haven't watched this yet, but I assume it's better than the Criterion Blu-ray. Avengers Infinity War. We got this at Savers, and it's just one of the last really good MCU movies. Blazing Saddles. This is just one of the funniest movies ever made. This movie and Young Frankenstein both had its 50th anniversary in 2024, but this movie got a 4K and Young Frankenstein didn't, probably because Young Frankenstein is owned by 20th Century Fox, which is owned by Disney, and Disney just couldn't care less about releasing catalog movies on 4K. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, the first silent film to be released on 4K in America, in its own package. Yeah, it definitely looks really good. Cars 3, I got this because it was cheap online, and I'm slowly trying to get all the 4Ks of Pixar movies that I can. Why did Disney just not release a regular 4K of Inside Out 2? You can only get the regular Blu-ray, and you can only get the 4K Steelbook. And right now, the 4K Steelbook is the cheapest you can find it on eBay is $50. And I'm just I don't want to pay that, even though the movie's really good. Dune Part 2, my favorite movie of last year. Yeah, and I've spent way too much hours of my life looking up statistics about the Oscars and writing them all down and putting them all in a spreadsheet. And this is how they repay me, by nominating this movie in 5 categories. They snubbed it for Best Director again, they snubbed it for Best Costumes, they snubbed it for Best Editing, they snubbed it for Best Makeup, it wasn't even eligible for Best Score, and yet they nominate Emilia Perez in 13 categories. Yeah, and how well is that working out for them? A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We finally got these on 4K. I found them all in one lot for about $50. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly with the 4K slipcover is over $100. I might just have to print my own custom slipcover. Kingsman: The Secret Service and Kingsman: The Golden Circle on 4K. I don't know why Matthew Vaughn was I've created a whole secret organization on par with Men in Black, so in the sequel, let's literally destroy all of it and kill off every single character except for Taron Egerton and Mark Strong, and then let's kill off Mark Strong at the end. And then he made Argyle. Rango on 4K Steelbook. Yeah, just more animated movies need to look like this. Red and Red 2 on the 4K Steelbook. Yeah, both of these are some of our guilty pleasure action movies. Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It looks really good on 4K, and in my opinion, this is the last really good adaptation of a Broadway musical, until Wicked. Toy Story 4, I also got this because it was cheap, but the Pixar 4K Steelbooks that were released in 2020, I'll never get every single one of those because I already showed you this one, but Monsters Inc. on a 4K Steelbook, this is $200 right here. But I'm never going to open it. I'll find the regular 4K so I can watch my favorite movie on 4K. The Train on 4K, yeah, like it's basically the same transfer as the Blu-ray one, but just on a 4K disc, and you know, it's one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite war movies. White Christmas, this is just one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite Christmas movies, and I had to get it on 4K because the VistaVision cinematography is just also scrumptious to look at. The Boy and the Heron, I've actually haven't watched this like since theaters like in 2023, but it's cool to have a Studio Ghibli movie on 4K. And here's something cool, Evangelion 3+1 Thrice Upon a Time. I've watched the Neon Genesis Evangelion anime series like a little bit ago, and I really liked it, so I checked out the 4 rebuild movies, and 3+1 is definitely the best one, but if you watch it, you definitely need to have watched the previous 3 like shortly before, because there's a lot of things in this movie that you need to keep track of in order to understand anything that's going on. And also I'm going to get the Kill Bill 1 and 2 4K steelbooks for my birthday, which is in a few days. And finally, for the best 4K and Blu-ray collection that I have, Frank Capra at Columbia. This is a collection of 20 movies directed by the director of It's a Wonderful Life, Frank Capra, with That Certain Thing, So This Is Love, The Way, The Strong Submarine, The Younger Generation, Flight, Ladies of Leisure, Rain and Shine, The Miracle Woman, Dirigible, Platinum Blonde, Forbidden, Lady for a Day, American Madness, The Bitter Tea of General Young, It Happened One Night, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, Lost Horizon, You Can't Take It With You, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. 9 movies on 4K, and all of these, except for It Happened One Night and Mrs. Smith Goes to Washington, are exclusive to this. Most of these Blu-rays are exclusive to this collection. So... And the ones that I've watched is So This Is Love, Submarine, Lady for a Day, It Happened One Night, and You Can't Take It With You, and American Madness. I'm so glad that my parents got it for me for Christmas. And here is Everything Everywhere All at Once, the A24 shop exclusive that I bought at Walmart. Yeah, this thing is really cool. It has the movie on 4K with exclusive bonus features like how they made the music and how they made the visual effects, and also all these random papers, like this paper that was probably a scan from the movie, Action for a Divorce, Petition for Dissolution of Marriage, and then Seizure of Property, Every Evelyn All at Once, which is like a booklet of all the different screenshots that were in that montage in that one scene. The receipt for the karaoke machine, a receipt for the wheelchair, and this thing, this paper, and a poster. Yeah, like, I rewatched the movie, and I'm not sure this is, like, an actual scan of the prop that they used in the movie, because, like, if you look closely, the circle looks a lot different. Whoa. I got it all back in there. Oh hey, welcome to our Criterion shelf. This whole shelf is a ceramics piece that my brother made in his first semester at college in 2019, and I think we need to make another one at this point. Lonesome, a movie by Paul Fejos. This came out in 1928, and just like The Jazz Singer, it's like a part talkie where there's some scenes that people are talking, and then other scenes where it's like tinted color, and it's a lot better than The Jazz Singer, so you can check that out. Monsieur Verdoux, another Charlie Chaplin movie that Aaron had to get, a movie where he tries to kill Martha Ray from Hell's A-Poppin'. Limelight, this is basically Charlie Chaplin's swan song. Yeah, when this came out, it was actually boycotted because everyone thought that Chaplin was a filthy commie, so it was re-released in 1972, where it won Best Score without any other nominations. Peeping Tom, instead of being a glorious Technicolor Powell and Pressburger movie, it's just a regular color Michael Powell movie, and it's basically the British version of Psycho, but instead of being attracted to his mother, he's attracted to a film camera. La Jetée and Sans Soleil, I got this at a flea market for $3, and yeah, La Jetée is basically the best example of like making something out of nothing when you have absolutely no money and all you can do is just make a movie out of pictures. Funny Girl, this is actually a really good musical, and Barbra Streisand is really good at singing. And finally, Seven Samurai. I actually have never seen this before. I'm waiting for the perfect days where I could just sit down for like 200 minutes to watch Seven Samurai in 4K. And now for the DVDs, we have Antonio Gaudi. I got this at Goodwill. I guess this movie, it's like a Japanese documentary version of The Brutalist. And finally, Hamlet. I only got this because this and Around the World in 80 Days and Coda are the only Best Picture winners to not be available on Blu-ray in America. Criterion, get on releasing this on 4K. Now let's go through an update of our DVDs, more specifically our update of our Turner Classic Movies collections. The Family Collection with The Incredible Mr. Limpet, Flipper, National Velvet, and Lassie Come Home. Here's Hitchcock thrillers with Suspicion, Stranger on a Train, I Confess, and The Wrong Man. War with Battle of the Bulge, The Dawn Patrol from 1938, Gunga Din, and Operation Pacific. Bogey and Bacall with To Have and Have Not, The Big Sleep, Dark Passage, and Key Largo. Yeah, I watched The Big Sleep, and it's one of those movies that you need a pen and paper to keep track of everything that's going on in the movie. Humphrey Bogart with They Drive by Night, Across the Pacific, Action in the North Atlantic, and Passage to Marseille. Gary Cooper with Sergeant York, The Fountainhead, Friendly Persuasion, and Love in the Afternoon. Paul Newman with Somebody Up There Likes Me, Harper, Cool Hand Luke, and The Macintosh Man. Maureen O'Hara with The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Dance Girl Dance, The Spanish Maid, and The Wings of Eagles. Ronald Reagan with Newt Rockney, All American, Kings Row, Storm Warning, and The Winning Team. Debbie Reynolds with Sing on the Rain, How the West Was Won, The Unsinkable Molly Brown, and The Singing Nun. John Wayne War with Operation Pacific, The Sea Chase, Blood Alley, and The Wings of Eagles. Esther Williams Volume 1 with Bathing Beauty, On an Island with You, Neptune's Daughter, and Dangerous When Wet. Greatest Gangster Films Collection with Edward Robinson with The Little Giant, Bullets or Ballads, Kid Galahad, and Larceny Inc. Yeah, there was like one day where I found like 6 of these at Savers, and then another day where I found like 4 of them at a flea market. And in this cabinet, we keep all of our regular DVDs because there's just no more room for them anywhere else. Yeah, right there is the Lego modular buildings that we got in like 2014 and 2015 for Christmas. Gold Diggers of 1937 and Varsity Show, 2 Busby Berkeley musicals. Goodbye Mr. Chips, New Moon, a Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy movie. This is basically if Pirates of the Caribbean was an opera. A Date with Judy, this is an MGM Technicolor musical with Jane Powell and Elizabeth Taylor. Moulin Rouge, the 1952 Best Picture nominee. I got this because it's still sealed and it's also not available on Blu-ray yet. The Student Prince, a CinemaScope movie, the earliest Oscar nominee to still be alive, Anne Blythe. Meet Me in Las Vegas with Sid Charisse. And finally, another 20th Century Fox Studio Classics collection with Anna Karenina, A Farewell to Arms from 1957, Les Miserables from 1935, Les Miserables from 1952, and The Sun Also Rises. A Farewell to Arms has the lowest IMDb score for any movie nominated for Best Supporting Actor, with the Italian director Vittorio De Sica nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And here is an update of my VHS collection. I've gotten a lot more since last year because I just can't help myself, and they're only $1 a piece. So I got this, the Astaire and Rogers RKO collection. It's still completely sealed, so I had to get it. It was only $3. James Cagney collection with Public Enemy, White Heat, and Yankee Doodle Dandy. Madam Satan. This is one of the few musicals from the early days of Hollywood to not be incredibly boring, and I've actually watched it, and like if there was an Oscar for Best Costume Design in 1930, this movie would probably win it because it had loads of costumes. Shanghai Express, a Best Picture nominee from 1932. The Invisible Man on the Universal Studios Monsters Classic Collection. Flying Down to Rio on the Astaire and Rogers collection, Flying Down to Rio on the RKO collection, and Flying Down to Rio on the Nostalgia Merchant collection. A Tale of Two Cities. This is a Charles Dickens adaptation, and it says it came out in 1935, but it was nominated for Best Picture at the 1937 Oscars for 1936 movies, for some reason. Springtime. The Good Earth. Yeah, forget movies like Wuthering Heights and like All Quiet on the Western Front and Little Women. The Good Earth is a Best Picture nominee from the 1930s that deserves a remake. I mean, all you need to do is just cast Chinese people in the lead, you know, but not Awkwafina. Shall We Dance on the Astaire and Rogers collection. Now I have 4 different versions of Shall We Dance on VHS. Love Finds Andy Hardy. Yeah, Andy Hardy was basically the MCU of the 30s and 40s, where Mickey Rooney was in more than a dozen movies where he played Andy Hardy, and Judy Garland was in 3 of them, and this was the first one. Carefree on this version, and Carefree on this version. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, I have this on VHS now. The Thief of Baghdad, this is just one of the most visually stunning movies just of the 1940s, and it's one of the most influential movies because it's the first movie to use a chroma key blue screen effect, and this is what the effect looks like. Yeah, better than The Flash, am I right? Andy Hardy Meets Debutante, another Andy Hardy movie with Judy Garland, and the other one with Judy Garland I think is Life Begins for Andy Hardy, but I don't have that one. Tin Pan Alley. This is one of the few movies to have won an Oscar but has never been released on DVD. And my dad actually remembers watching this movie on Turner Classic Movies back in the 90s, so that's cool. The Philadelphia Story, colorized. shit out here. This version of Holiday Inn and this version of Holiday Inn. Now I have all three versions of Holiday Inn on VHS. To Be or Not To Be, one of my favorite Ernst Lubitsch movies that I had to get. Ziegfeld Follies on the Musicals, Great Musicals clamshell case. They've released lots of MGM musicals on a case that looks like this, but this is the only one that I have. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman and Phantom of the Opera on the Universal Studios Monsters Collection. Deanna Durbin, Can't Help Singing. This is her only Technicolor movie, but I haven't watched it yet. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. This is Elia Kazan's first movie, and it won Best Supporting Actor. The Jolson Story. I got this because, I've been looking up statistics about Oscars, and this is currently the least popular movie to be nominated for 6 Oscars and the least popular movie to win 2 Oscars. It won Best Score and Best Sound in 1946. Blue Skies, another Fred Astaire movie that I had to get. The Farmer's Daughter. This movie won Best Actress for Loretta Young. Hamlet. I have this on DVD now, and now I'm just waiting for the Blu-ray to come out. She Wore a Yellow Ribbon. This is another John Wayne movie that I haven't seen, but first, looking up statistics about the Oscars, this is actually the last movie to win an Oscar for Best Cinematography, but without any other nominations. Come to the Stable. I guarantee you've never heard of this movie. This is the least popular movie to be nominated for 3 acting Oscars, with Loretta Young, Celeste Holm, and Elsa Lanchester. Jolson Sings Again. This is one of the few 1940s movies to actually be an official sequel. 12 O'Clock High. This is a Best Picture nominee from 1949, where Dean Jagger won Best Supporting Actor. The Fuller Brush Girl and Fancy Pants. I got these because one of my neighbors was giving away a bunch of VHS tapes. Pretty much all of them were, Lucy Ball related, like I Love Lucy and The Lucy Show and The Lucy and Desi Show, and the only ones that I kept were the movies. Macau. I got this because it was free at a library. Lily. Fun fact about this movie, Leslie Caron was nominated for Best Actress, which makes her the earliest Best Actress nominee to still be alive as of 2025. The Student Prince. I have this on DVD, so I don't know when I'm going to watch that. The Long Long Trailer, another Lucy Ball movie. Broken Lance, a Western, and I only got it because Katie Girardo was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Jupiter's Darling. This and The Student Prince and Lily are on Max right now, and I actually watched this, just to see, glorious CinemaScope, because the version that's on this is 4:3 pan and scan, so you're literally missing half of the movie when you watch this VHS. Forever Darling, another Lucy Ball movie. Strategic Air Command. This was nominated for an Oscar for Best Story. Funny Face, another Fred Astaire movie. 7 Hills of Rome with Mario Lanza. This is still sealed. I don't know when I'm ever going to watch that. North by Northwest, one of my favorite Cary Grant movies. Yours, Mine, and Ours, another Lucy Ball movie that I got with the other 4. Z. I have this on DVD, and I'm also waiting for the Blu-ray to be released from Criterion. The Amazing Dobermans. I got this at the Brimfield Flea Market because it has Fred Astaire in it. Kagemusha. This is an Akira Kurosawa movie, and something that just doesn't happen anymore is famous American directors being executive producers on foreign language films. Like George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola were executive producers on this movie. Back to the Future. I had to get this because it's just one of my favorite movies, and I want to get all my favorite movies on VHS if they're available on VHS. And same thing, The Iron Giant. And finally, Shark Tale. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, but it's also one of the most nostalgic, so I had to get it. And here's an update on the Red Banner MGM musicals that I have. Rosalie with Nelson Eddy and Eleanor Powell. I don't know anything about that, but I had to get it. For Me and My Gal, 2 different versions. This one is still sealed. That's Gene Kelly's first movie. Meet Me in St. Louis. Yeah, sometimes they airbrush the hell out of their faces. Anchors Away, a Best Picture nominee. In the Good Old Summertime. This is a remake of The Shop Around the Corner with Judy Garland. On the Town. This is just one of the most enjoyable MGM musicals of its time. The Great Caruso with Mario Lanza. This movie won an Oscar for Best Sound. And finally, Lovely to Look At, which is a remake of Roberta.